Welcome everyone. Today we're going to look at the EC Trench and the MS Patriot class. As you can see here in the box, it is the only box I have and it's got no sticker on it. Now as you can see the logo in the polystyrene protection box from Hornby. This is obviously backdated and I believe this is the 1978 or 1979 going on to 1980 first releases of Hornby. So as you can see, they're great finishes, just as Lady Godiva, the other sister locomotive in the Patriot class. And this color is obviously the LMS Maroon and class 5XB468, and the Hornby model is R2182A. And as per Hornby description of this locomotive, it is the LMS Crimson Lake with smoke deflectors. Now looking at the LMS Patriot class in front of us here, we have the EC Trench Patriot. And this is locomotive number 5539 in the Patriot class. Now as you can see, the finishes from Hornby, great finishes. The color might differ on the loco. It's slightly more of a pinkish shade in the Crimson Lake color than the tender, but I don't mind. It just have a very nice look to it with the black finishes, and it's got to me a little bit more black finish in the loco than the Lord Rathmore. Lord Rathmore's got a little bit more of a silver look to it, but we'll get to it just now. So obviously the numbering, everything is well applied, and also the finishes at the bottom ground level of the locomotive. If you're looking at the back of the tender, great finishes all around through, even with the steps at the cabin of the loco, going right through to the front of the locomotive. All the finishes there are well done by Hornby, and I think for the time it's really quite an amazing locomotive that was built at that time. Obviously not competing with today's locomotives that are out, but if I look at the list of Hornby, this is one of the first locos that might have been built in the Patriot class. And very interestingly enough, there was a second EC Trench also built by Hornby, which is model number R3154, and that locomotive number is also 45539. Obviously it was the BR Brunswick green in the late logo, light crest finish. But we are not featuring that one today. We are concentrating on the Crimson Lake locomotive in the Patriot class in front of us. So now looking at this sketch of the LMS locomotive, quite interesting indeed, but this was in real life a poster produced for London, Midland and Scottish Railway, promoting services between London and Scotland, entitled Scott Passes Scott. It was created by an artist named Brian DeJournaux, and this was in 1937. Under the Railways Act of 1921, Britain's railways were restructured into 4 major companies. This grouping came into effect on 1 January 1923. One of the new Big Four companies was the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, the LMS. The company was created by the amalgamation of several smaller companies, the London and North Western Railway (LNWR), Midland Railway (MR), North Staffordshire Railway (NSR), Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway (LNYR), Furness Railway (FR), Caledonian Railway (CR), Glasgow and South Western Railway (G&SWR), and Highland Railway (HR). These were all formed into a single operating company. This resulted the LMS being a huge enterprise. Now coming to the favorite part where we go into the history of the locomotive. LMS Patriot class was a class of 52 express passenger steam locomotives built for London, Midland and Scottish Railway. The first locomotive of the class was built in 1930 and the last in 1934. The class was based on the chassis of the Royal Scot combined with the boiler from large Clothans, earning them the nickname Baby Scots. A total of 18 were rebuilt to create the LMS rebuilt class between 1946 and 1948. Thereafter, those not subjected to rebuilding were often referred to as the unrebuilt Patriot class. These remaining 34 unrebuilt engines were withdrawn between 1960 and 1962. The first two were rebuilt in 1930 from the 1912 built LNWR large Clothans class, retaining the original driving wheels with their large bosses, the double radial, bogie truck and some other parts. Naming of the class was somewhat erratic. Some retained old Clothan names, whilst others continued the military associations of the names Patriot and St. Dunstan's, and 13 carried names of holiday resorts served by the LMS. 7 remained unnamed, although they had been allocated names in 1943. Many of the 52 members of the Patriot class spent the bulk of their working careers in England, primarily on the West Coast Main Line. Most of them were stationed at Crewe North and Carlisle Upperby, though a few were stationed at Edge Hill, Bushbury, Camden, Willesden and Carlisle, Kingmoor and other locations in the area. They were primarily used as express engines, but were later tasked with the occasional mixed traffic work once the diesel engines arrived in the network. The Patriot class LMS EC Trench Hornby number R2182A. The locomotive we have here today is a 460 wheel arrangement. It's also referred to as the Class 5XP. Now, this locomotive was pre-launched 1934 LMS number 5925, and the locomotive was built in July 1933 at Crew Works. And post 1934, LMS number 5539, as we have the locomotive and that number on the layout as we see today. Now after that, in the BR numbering was 45539. EC Trench LMS Patriot class was withdrawn in 1961. So there you have it. Thanks for joining me for yet another of the LMS Rollout Edition Volume 2, and please look out for the LMS Rollout Edition number 4 and 5 and 6 still on the way. So thanks for joining me once again. I wish you all the best. Thanks for your comments. I always look out for them. Lots of love. Regards, Elizabeth.